LTE technology. Now this is something that you see an awful lot of in the World Mobile Congress. LTE, or long-term evolution, is an informal word that we can use to describe 4G. Now, I actually went to a lecture before of LTE technology whilst I was here in the Mobile World Congress, and they gave some stats such as nowadays they're saying there's about 9 million connections of LTE in the world, and they're predicting something like about 5 years there will be 795 million connections of LTE or 4G technology. That is an impressive statistic. Something else that you see quite a lot of in the Mobile World Congress is the emphasis that they're putting on seamlessness or cablelessness. There's some good examples of this, of NFC technology, how that's being used, which we'll have a look at an example in a minute, or also how there's something called wireless charging that actually I hadn't really heard of before. That's coming up in a minute as well. But first we're going to have a look at the technology, which is where you're able to seamlessly carry on listening to your internet radio or a podcast. Something I do quite often is actually listen to a podcast. I'm in the street and I'm walking, and then I'm listening to it using the 3G signal, and then I go back into my house and then it stops as it's changing the connection. Well, I came across this company whilst I was here in the Congress. Let's have a look.
So Sharedband Connect is a way of seamlessly roaming between Wi-Fi and 3G networks. So I think an awful lot of people have been very annoyed by the fact that they're using their smartphones out and about, listening to internet radio, watching live TV, and then they walk into or past the hotspot, and what they find is everything stops. It's very painful, and after a while of it flipping in and out, when you switch between these different networks, a lot of people just turn off Wi-Fi and just stick with 3G. That costs you more, and also you get generally slower speeds. So Sharedband has been designed to really try and smooth over these different networks as you move between them. So the way the technology works is we have a little piece of software that sits on here. What it does is it tries to keep the 3G and the Wi-Fi connections open. What it then does is essentially splits the traffic across those different lines. We bring that traffic back together again at the server. And what normally happens with these internet connections is you have something called an IP address, which is how you contact other devices on the internet. And what normally happens is you send traffic out over Wi-Fi that comes from the Wi-Fi connection. But if the Wi-Fi drops and you move up to 3G, you've now got a 3G IP address. So the other end sees, well, you come from a different place, stop what you're doing, restart it. With Sharedband, what happens is through our servers that are tunneling all of the traffic that are out on the internet, that's where we give you an IP address. So whether you're going over 3G, 4G, home Wi-Fi, business Wi-Fi, a public hotspot, your IP address stays the same. It's at that server. So as connections come in and drop out, it doesn't matter. To the outside world, to the internet, your IP has stayed the same. In education today, an awful lot of establishments are teaching you how to use technology. PowerPoint, Microsoft, Excel, all these sort of things are very valuable skills. But what's happened over the past 20, 25 years is that people's understanding as to how things work has lessened more and more and more. We're taught how to use, but we don't understand some of the fundamentals. So when I was a younger lad many years ago, we were taught about programming. We were taught about how networks operate. At a very basic level, it gives you some appreciation as to the complexity and just how complex some of these very basic things are. So when you do move between mobile network and Wi-Fi, actually there's an awful lot of things that happen underneath. And I think because people, it's not sparking young person's initiatives, it's not really giving them something exciting to think about. using PowerPoint isn't exciting, but when you really understand how some of these fundamental technologies work, it really sparks the imagination. That's what we really need more of, deeper understanding of what's going on. The internet is full of tools out there that help you program. There's initiatives like the Raspberry Pi, which is a small little device, very low cost. Actually, an awful lot of schools are starting to roll out, and the likes of Google, I know, are paying for those to go into British schools. So the tide is changing. The schools and the education sector are really understanding, well, hold on, we've gone far too much to one extreme in terms of technology use. We're trying to give people a better fundamental understanding as to how things operate. So things are changing, but it requires schools, it needs the government, it needs the kids themselves and parents to really start asking the question why. Why is it doing that rather than just taking it for granted? So Mobile World Congress is really the launch pad for our mobile products. As I say, our business has primarily been combining fixed lines for businesses, but now moving us into the mobile space. That's really a big part of our business going forward. So Mobile World Congress is our launch pad for that.